Hey everybody, how are you? I'm fantastic. Thank you for asking. I'm Lisa, and this is Crimes and Fashion, where we talk about some very bad people while being dressed to kill. I'm so proud of myself for remembering that. Half the time I come on here and I never say who I am or where the hell you are. So there you go. I remembered today. The lighting's a little different in here. I try and use the natural light when I do a live, but it's kind of, the sun's coming in and out and it makes really funky, weird shadows. So I've broken down and put the huge overhead chandelier on. I do have the little square ring light deal going. Y'all, if I start to spontaneously combust, I'll be turning those off. But for now, we're good. So, pardon me while I finish up my 18th cup of coffee this morning. Ooh, Crime and Contour. I love that name. Very clever. How are you? Oh, I love your avatar too. Hey, Alabama Truth Seeker, how are you, my friend? Well, did my title intrigue you? Yeah, I know the Murdaughs. Not really. We're gonna get to that. But first, y'all, when I took my YouTube sabbatical, I had to find new ways to fill up my free time when I wanted to watch TV. Because when I exited the building, I truly exited the building. Judge Judy, oh my God, Judge Judy, you're my hero. I love Judge Judy. Easy for me to say, Judge Judy. That is my kind of woman, okay? I love her. No bullshit. Tells it to you like it is, whether you want to hear it or not. Okay, so when I took my little sabbatical, I didn't even watch YouTube. I couldn't, because I knew if I did, I was going to get I just wouldn't be able to. When I said I needed a break, I truly needed a break. Not just from making content, but from having anything to do with it. So I had to find alternate TV entertainment. So I watched all of Yellowstone, which I loved. Most of 1883, I'm still watching that. And the other night, as I was going through my Discovery Plus, I thought, something came across, the helpful suggestions they love to give you. Well, something came across my screen, and it's a show that my husband and I used to actually watch it. And what show is that? Now, I haven't seen it in months. Oh, hell, probably. I should have checked to see how long that show's been on. I couldn't tell you. But it's been, I haven't watched it in at least a year, probably more like 2. I don't know. And when I saw the star of the show, I was literally, if I hadn't seen the name of the show next to this person's picture, I wouldn't have been able to, I would have had no clue who that was. Who am I talking about? Well, I am talking about the show I Am Jazz. Now, I'm going to preface this with what I say all the time. What I said this morning. Y'all, I'm not woke, okay? And when I say that, please don't take that to mean that some of the, I'm in my 50s, okay? So a lot of things, let's just say social issues, were non-existent when I was, in my wild and free years, we'll just say. When we had no internet, we didn't have these social issues. So when I say that I am not woke, please don't take that to mean that that I think anybody who's in, how do we say it nowadays? This is my word, it's probably not right. Disenfranchised, perhaps. I'm sure that's not the right word. See what I mean? I don't come from this, so I don't even know all the proper vernacular. Hi, Kathy, clap the house. But I don't need to say what I'm going to say, because I would say what I'm going to say regardless of whether or not I'm using the proper words. Hi, Willow son, how you doing? Okay, so I Am Jazz is, for anybody not familiar, it is a reality show. Hold on, I'm making myself a note because I'm old. Like, I have to write it down or I'll forget. It's a reality show that, interestingly enough, the longer it's been on the air, the more badly scripted it's starting to look. And by the way, guys, reality shows, there is little to no reality in reality television. It's all scripted. And as we've seen, not everybody's acting ability is equal, we'll just say. So, okay, so we have this show, I Am Jazz. And for anybody that is not familiar, the family is the Jennings family. Her name, oh, hell, for all I know, they could have actually changed her name to Jazz, but she goes by Jazz Jennings. She is and I'm probably going to get this wrong too, the terminology. She is a transgendered woman, I believe is the proper vernacular, we'll just say. She was born a biological male. She is now post-surgery female. She has had the complete procedures to become female. She's got breast implants, and her her boy parts were removed, and she now has lady parts. Okay, that's as delicate as I can put it. So here's the family dynamic. I believe this show has been on at least 7 seasons, possibly 8. I think it was on TLC, was the original network. And here's the dynamic of the family. Jazz, who is, I want to say she's maybe 22, 23. So when she started, God, I tell you guys all the time, anything past these and I need a calculator. So let's just say she was a young adolescent when this show started, because I'm not sure of her exact age now, nor how old she was when the show started. She was a young adolescent, of that I know. So we've got, and they live in Florida, in Fort Lauderdale area, it looks like. Okay, so we've got Jazz, we've got mom, dad, who are married and been married for decades. She's got 2 brothers and an older sister, and I believe she is the youngest of all the children. So 4 kids total. And we also have Grandma and Grandpa who make regular appearances on the show. And yes, I'm going to say something very oh God, we'll get there, about Grandma. And if I forget, y'all, somebody please remind me to mention Grandma's eyes. There is something. Well, hell, I'm here. We may as well just do it now. Okay, so Grandma and Grandpa, she is in her 80s. I have to say, she's a teeny tiny little thing. She's as big as this pen. She definitely is a big fan of how would you describe it? Her hair is kind of like a helmet. It's short. A lot of teasing with the rat tail comb, and a lot of really bad foils. Truthfully, I'm sure they're not foils. They look to me like it is old school, cap on the head, knitting needle thing where you pull it through, because she's got these chunky ass highlights that are about that wide. Just very dated. It's 80s. And interestingly enough, Grandma is 80s. I believe Grandma is 82, some early 80s. For her age, she's in phenomenal shape. She very active. She's, they always show her doing something, and she wears pretty hip clothes. But y'all, she's got this thing with her eyes. And does anybody remember when Judge Jeanine Pirro from Fox News had a little problem with her eyes? They weren't both going the same direction. Now, typically when you see that in certain women, especially if they have a lovely smooth forehead and all this, that can be the result of a little Botox needle gone the wrong place with a little too much product. It'll make your eye, like, you can get a droopy eye. Hers, when she first started the show, I mean, it's very obvious she's had face work done. And every season, her forehead seems to move further back in her skull. Yeah, she's at least a 6 head now, maybe a 7. Boy, we could be here until tonight if I have to go through each family. Don't worry, I promise we're not. But there's just something very unsettling about Grandma, because each season, the eye, it's gotten worse, but her hairline has gotten higher. So at first I thought, and it still may be, hey girl, how you doing, Coco? Oh, you know who we're talking about, Jazz. Yeah, so I have always thought that the eye was the result of not just Botox, but possibly a facelift. Because if you go to a doctor who's not incredibly skilled, in a facelift, they basically cut, they pull your scalp, they give you a new hairline is what they do. Usually your scars are back behind your ears. That's where mine are. I'm just kidding. I've never had. For the record, I have never had. Listen, y'all, I don't care about anybody saying, you got fake tits, you got this, you got... Yeah. But say something about me that's not true, and that's where I will give the counterpoint. I've never had any face work, but I know all about it. I've known a million people who have. So at any rate, oh, Coco. So you know what I'm talking about with Grandma. Yeah, so I always assumed that Grandma's ideal, whatever's going on there, was the result of too much, not good. surgery and or Botox. It also very well could be some kind of thyroid disorder. I don't know. But so there's grandma. And shockingly, I'm sure not. The Unabomber's here. The unnameable lurker. When I saw that screen name that I love so much earlier in Savage's live, I kept typing comments, and I would have to prolific backspace use because every time I look at that screen name, I see the Unabomber. Finally, I said, "Can I just call you Ted? It'll just make everything so much easier." Okay, so listen, I'm not trying to pick on grandma, but grandma is very outspoken. She's got a lot to say. She's a big presence in this show, and her eyes make me crazy. And they've just gotten worse and worse. And grandma, Mike, for the love of God, please. If that is not the result of a surgical procedure, please consult your doctor. I mean, it could be thyroid. I don't know. Okay, so back to Jazz. And grandma is married to grandpa. Grandpa is my favorite in the whole show. He's kind of like an airheaded. He seems very nice. You can tell grandma wears the pants. And he just smiles and goes along. Go along to get along. That's my motto. Many times. Okay, so when I saw Jazz for the first time, Saturday. It was Saturday. You guys, I literally was blown away. She has gained at least 100 pounds. It is almost unrecognizable. Now, Jazz apparently got accepted to Harvard a few years ago and was unable to. She did go and couldn't stay there. Do you think it could be because? Well, now my husband would tell you that probably just as much as her grades and her GPA, because she does seem to be a bright kid. I don't question that she is intellectually capable of Harvard. I mean, they accepted her. Now, I'm kind of Pollyanna and feel like, well, they accepted her because she's very bright and made the cut. And my husband looked at me as like, no bullshit. They took her because of her show. Because he goes, that's just what they do. In reality, it's probably a little bit of both. But she was unable to cut the mustard, shall we say. Oh, Coco, yeah. She is an entitled little bitch, and I'm sick of her. Like, I don't care what happens, and I don't want to watch the end of the show. But where I was going with this is, if you watch the show in the very beginning, before it really, and if I'm not mistaken, this show came out around the time that Caitlyn Jenner was big news. I may be mistaken about that, but let's just say that it was not as commonplace as it is now. And here's the whole reason I'm talking about it. So current season, or the last one they just had, Jazz is, by her own admission, as well as her ever-present mother, who I'd like to punch in her ugly face. Mom, kind of like her mom. Oh, mom wears the pants in the Jennings family. That is faux show. And the husband, and by the way, Coco, let me know if you agree with me. It seems like Mom and Dad Jennings, well, they also appear to be a fan of the face work, because Dad, my goodness, Dad looks surprisingly refreshed. Not, it doesn't look surgical to me. It looks like a whole lot of Botox, which, hey, I'm a fan. I ain't hating on him for it. Mom, I think Mom's had more than Botox. They both look quite refreshed, and clearly the whole family is big proponents of plastic surgery. Jazz couldn't even get through, I don't think, more than a semester of Harvard. And by her admission, and the parents, and the grandparents, and the siblings, everyone, well, gee, imagine this. She has had a lot of mental health issues, we'll just say, crippling depression, obviously an identity disorder issue. And from season 1 of this show, I knew, not even midway through episode 1, that seems to me like Jazz's issues all come from Mom. Mommy dearest. I got, and I think most people got, the very distinct impression that Mom wanted little Jazz to be out there. I'm sure she lobbied for this TV show. Despite the fact that they try to come across as, oh, we're just, your average everyday American family. I don't know about that. It was very obvious that in the whole family dynamic, it was all about Jazz. All Jazz, all the time. I felt so badly for the other kids, because it came shining through that it's all about Jazz and all Jazz's issues. And in my opinion, the mother and the father, shame on you, dude. You need to find your balls. It's probably a little late now, but I think that mother has done that girl an incredible disservice. I'm going to go on the record right here and now. I have no problem with transgendered people. I don't care what bathroom you use. It's just a non-issue in my life. So I don't care. I don't have any prejudice. Whatever you want to do with your body in your bedroom is your business. As long as you're not affecting my life, I don't give a damn what they do. I truly don't. But when you take a child, if you're curious about it, just go watch the first couple episodes if you can. I mean, even the first episode, if I'm not mistaken, the mother says that from the age of 2 or 3, so very, very, very young. To hear the mother tell it, basically from the time that little Jazz was able to yippity yap, that she wanted to be a girl. Okay, I'll take your word for it. Here's where I take issue. These parents found, and remember, this was several years ago. The show has been on 7 or 8 seasons. I'm not sure. I don't know if seasons correspond to like one calendar year. I don't think they do. I think it's a little less than a calendar year, but we're talking at least 5, 6, 7 years. You know, now this is probably much more commonplace, but to me, this mother. Oh, and have I mentioned that you will never see the mother? Well, when she's not wearing her, oh God, what is that? What is that brand? She's a big fan of one of these, and they don't have any brick and mortar stores. It's strictly mail order, like Boston Proper kind of thing, but a little more slutty. Oh, everything's a print, everything's polyester, everything's got big fan of the cold shoulder. It's like, sweetie, the cold shoulder, we don't have to wear it every single day. But when she's not wearing that, she's representing. She's always wearing a shirt that says something about, trans rights, gay rights, and great. I don't care. Have your whole wardrobe nothing but, social justice causes. I like the Ramones. Well, actually, I don't like the Ramones. I like the pink glittery graphic on the t-shirt. But, she's just a walking. I think she'd like to think that she's a provocateur. She's far from it. But I think it's great that she wanted to support. Oh, don't get me going on the brother. Belt sander. Oh God. Okay, listen, y'all. This thing has gone so far, the storyline, that now one of the brothers, who by the way is in love with himself, like anytime he has the opportunity to not wear a shirt on camera, he does. And enjoy those years, because you're for your age, so honey, you're a little doughy through the middle. I'd hit the gym, crunches or plank. Just do a little more, since you like to be shirtless so much. Now he's got a storyline where he's, thinking about dating a transgender woman who has not had the surgery. Does that not just make him a homosexual male? I mean, I'm just saying. I'm going to say, I don't care. Don't give a damn what you are. But here's my problem. My problem is you've got a little kid, okay, who's telling you from a very young age that they want to be, you've got a biological boy saying that he wants to be a girl. And they very much supported and encouraged that. And I'll say good for them for being supportive of their child. Here's where I have a problem. They sought out a doctor, several, who would give this child puberty blockers. And I just think that to do something like that with a tiny child, and I don't care what they say, there's a reason that we're not plants. Like when we have kids, they need more than food and water and a little bit of sunlight now and again. You can't just indulge every whim. I mean, my son, when he was probably 3 when we went through the fireman phase, where everywhere we went, he wore yellow rubber fire boots. Sometimes he wore the coordinating fireman jacket and the hat. I mean, that doesn't mean that I took him to a firehouse and said, "Oh, he's going to live here because he wants to be a fireman." What do they call that when you? Oh, embed. We're going to embed him in a fire. So while I think it was great to be a supportive parent, God, I hope that's not the ACLU calling me. I think it's great that they wanted to support their child, but from the outside looking in at what they showed us, mom had some weird, deep-seated desire to be famous, and I think she used this kid to do it. And now, oh, did I mention? Okay, so we take this child and we do hormones, we do puberty blockers, and it was a process, obviously. You don't just go in there and roll up and walk out what you want to be. No, there was, the counseling, you go through all the hormones, then it was breast implants, and then it was, what she called bottom surgery. And, by the way, that was not, there was problems. That had to be revised multiple times. Well, I mean, imagine my surprise when I turned the episode on and Jazz, "Girl, you want to be a girl? Well, sweetie, there you go. You better get your estrogen checked or your progesterone or whatever it is," because she's literally ballooned up 100 pounds. Gee, I wonder if it's the result of hormones. She does eat terribly, but she's depressed. My God, I can't imagine why she's depressed. So I just think it's, I have nothing against people who feel like they are in the wrong body and want to be in a different one. And if your family, I think it's great as a family to support your child or your family member, but I think it goes way too far when you are allowing a small child to make the kind of decisions that have lifelong, lasting effects. So, okay, so that's, I am Jazz. Okay, now on to the real part of the show. Why I came in here. The Murdaugh trial. Okay. I swear to you, that man himself says his name different ways. Alabama Truth Seeker, that is exactly right. Kids go through phases. Do I think it was a phase? Probably not for that kid. However, that doesn't mean that I agree with, before the age of 18, indulging it in the way they did. Just too much. Okay, so Alec. Okay, I've heard Alex. I've heard Alec. Something that sounds like Alec. I've heard Murdaugh, Murdoch, Murdick. Like I said, I've heard him say it more than one different way. We'll just say Murdaugh. Murdoch. I did hear in a podcast, I've heard from before the trial even started that it's pronounced Murdoch. So that's what I'm going to say. Alex Murdoch. Okay. If y'all are watching this trial, I'm just going to tell you where I watch it. It's obviously, listen, everybody and their brother here on YouTube is talking about this. I'm not up here to, I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not going to pretend to be one. We got plenty of people on here that do that. Court TV is the pool camera that is in the courtroom. I don't watch it on Court TV. I'm watching it here on YouTube. I watch it on Emily D. Baker's channel. She is a lawyer who does legal commentary on lots of cases. She did Depp v. Heard. I just like her. There's lots of amazing lawyer commentary channels covering this. There's Recato Law, Uncivil Law, The Lawyer You Know. There's somebody else that I'm not remembering at the moment. There's lots of good commentary channels. Hey Monroe, how are you? To watch this on. Okay, so we're not going to talk about, we're going to talk a little bit about the trial and what's happened thus far, but I'm not sitting up here doing a play-by-play of every witness, every ruling. I mean, we'll go over the general overview and I'm going to give you my thoughts. And if you want to do any of your own research online, the Island Packet, I think it's just islandpacket.com. That's the local news, one of the local newspapers there. They have a great website. They've got a really, really good overview of every day's proceedings in court. I think today they finished up with the cop that was on the stand yesterday, one of many. And I did hear chatter that possibly the medical examiner will be today. That I want to see. I don't usually watch it in real time, y'all, because I can't. It just makes me. Here's another reason I really like Emily D. Baker. I'm sure the other ones do it too. I usually watch it on her channel after the day is done, and she puts timestamps all the way through the video of, who's on the stand and how long they're there. This is commentary. This is lunch recess. It's just, I like the way she simplifies it all. Because it's a lot, you guys. It is a lot. And yesterday was a lot of laying the foundation to then admit the evidence, because all the evidence, they have to do what's called laying foundation. So basically, in layman's terms, that is whoever's on the stand. Do you recognize this? Yes. What do you recognize this to be? Blah, blah, blah. Your Honor, we move to admit, blah, blah, blah. And then they either agree without objection or they find it out. Okay. I love the judge. I think he's fantastic. He's super chill, even tempered. I don't know how long he's been a judge. Probably quite a while. One thing in this courtroom that I have not seen before that makes me a little bit crazy is the lawyers and anybody at the tables, paralegals, media people, not media like news outlets, but, what do they call that thing? They don't have a high-tech courtroom like they had in Depp v. Heard. So this is old school, like bringing up big poster board with diagrams, things like that. The person that does that. They're allowed to move around at will whenever. Like somebody's on the stand and old Dick Harpootlian, who I'd like to smack in his fat old face. And by the way, who the hell's paying Dick Harpootlian? That's what I want to know. one of the wonderful state senators from the great state of South Carolina. Well, I guess I probably shouldn't reckon too bad because one of the, at least he has a job besides being a politician. But oh boy, it comes shining through that he is a politician. He's practiced as an attorney for a long time. He's got a very prominent reputation. Damn it, I should have gone and looked at some other cases that he's done that are high profile. Yeah, I'm just curious who's paying his fee, because I assure you his fee is in the several hundreds per hour. A case like this, they probably don't bill out on an hourly basis. It's probably very large retainer up front, and then I would be shocked if they did a flat fee. But yeah, I'm just wondering who's paying that, because old Alex, I think most of his money, anything that he didn't blow on, the money that he stole allegedly from, well, that wasn't alleged. He did steal from his clients' trust accounts at his law firm. Oh, you want to talk about a cardinal sin for a lawyer? You do not do that. That is an absolute no-no. So yeah, I'm very curious as to who's paying that fee, because he does not have, I believe, any money that was in his accounts that he didn't blow through. I believe all assets are under the control of a conservator, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I don't know if old Dickie is doing this. Oh, I'm sure it's pro bono. Not. That's something I want to find out. How is his fee getting paid? Murdaugh, I'm not even going to speculate, y'all, because I don't know. I don't have a clue. But that's, I want to find out about that. So yeah, that's very annoying. And he's, he definitely, old Dickie, he definitely has that very, he's very comfortable in that courtroom. Let's just say that he's large and in charge and wants you to know it. And old Alec, he's pretty comfy there too. So I'm writing myself a note about that, because I want to find out how he's getting paid. Dick Harpootlian has said more times than I can count, when referring to Alex Murdaugh's slain wife and son, Paul, butchered. He keeps saying they were butchered. Well, no. When I hear butchered, I think this. I don't think this. Slaughtered, annihilated, massacred. There's lots of words we could use. Why he keeps using butchered, I'm not sure. So another thing that is odd that Emily D. Baker actually commented on several times is how she has never seen, and I haven't either, an in custody defendant have as much movement. Like when they go on the other day in court, they're on, I don't know if it was a recess or if it was the end of the day, and he's literally hugging people in the gallery. Now you think about it and let me know if you can think of any time you've ever seen that. I have not. In all the years I've watched trials, I have never seen that. He had some Tic Tacs the other day, and this was the end of the day. And he just put those Tic Tacs in his pocket like he was going to take them back to his cell. I mean, you don't get to do that. And I do not think it is any coincidence. Coincidence isn't the right word. I don't think it's a mistake that he is sitting in that chair. He has not appeared in a tie as of yet. And I think that's very purposeful. You've got this weird like dichotomy that I see of him wanting to portray that, you know, he's this legal powerhouse. You know, that's up for debate. He was the solicitor for that county, Hampton County, I think it is. His grandfather's portrait actually had to be taken down out of that very courtroom they're sitting in, because dating back at least 100 years. Oh, Alabama Truth Seeker. I didn't know you were an attorney. Ooh, keep commenting. Your comment that as long as I worked as a criminal attorney, I never saw that allowed. That from Alabama Truth Seeker. I've never seen it, and I've watched, you know, I'm just a couch attorney. I've never seen it. So I think they have this weird dichotomy of trying to present, oh, he's just your average, everyday, good old boy from the South. While also he wants to let you know that, you know, my family owns this town. And they did for a long time. I don't think they do anymore. So yeah, I think it's very deliberate that he is sitting at that table dressed like he is. And yes, Coco, I was thinking the same thing. He's got some, now listen, y'all, I would not sit up here and say that he's not crying, so he's guilty. Not everybody cries. I think everybody hopefully cries at some point, but his reactions, every time I've seen him, whether it was the 2 interviews that were recorded that we've been able to see so far, one that first night in a truck, I believe it was, and then there was another interview done. I don't know I think it might have been the following day. He's got some very strange mannerisms. He sits at the defense table. Yeah, he does a lot of this kind of rocking. Coco called it rocking. Yeah. You know, I actually thought, God, is that maybe some kind of neurological issue going on there? But I don't think it is. What is definitely not a neurological issue is he will take a Kleenex, you know, at very, let's just say, appropriate times. And he takes it and he bows his head a little bit, and he'll take a Kleenex and he'll do one of those. But there are no tears, okay? He has a very off-putting whine, like a whine. That's the only way I know how to put it. And it's a very high octave. It's strange. And to me, what it looks like to me, when all taken together, I think it is someone who is trying to do the right things at the right times. I don't know. I mean, my personal feelings and opinion based up to now with everything I've heard in court and what's been put out in the media. And I'm sorry, where there's smoke, there's fire. And I wouldn't necessarily even if you try and separate out the murders of his wife and son, if none of the other things that he has been charged with doing, which are numerous, all kinds of financial improprieties, the thing with the housekeeper. I mean, this dude, he is a slimy. He said he's had a 20 some odd year drug problem, prescription pills. Dude, I don't know what kind of habit you have that you're needing to steal millions of dollars for. When you think about the fact that if you don't think for 1 minute that he's not like if you and I have to go, find a doctor, we've got a problem. I promise you, he could get prescriptions written to him at the cocktail parties he would regularly attend. There would be plenty of doctors that he knew. And what I'm saying is he didn't need to do all that to support a prescription drug habit, okay? I don't doubt he had a prescription drug habit. I take issue with how much it supposedly was when you look at how much he stole. And that's kind of when I said I know these people, when I see him sitting at that defense table in his uniform, I said to a friend of mine, you know how they say that song, oh, that's the soundtrack of my life. Him in that uniform, that is the uniform of my life. I have known through my whole life people just like the Murdaughs. Some with less money, but still, way above average income. Some with more money, and a few with a lot more money. And I thought, I think it would be, fun's not the right word, but I'm gonna tell you what I think. And I don't know these people, but I know lots of people that live a very similar lifestyle, let's just say. So I thought, I bet I can sit here and I'm going to tell you what I think they wore, what kind of cars they drove, what kind of jewelry they wore, what kind of shoes they wore, what kind of handbag she carried. Because I think I know. So that's why when I said I know these people, I don't know them, but I know people just like them. So his son, Buster, the whole family has, well, I'm not going to say the whole family. Several members of this family have controversy swirling around them. I think that they they ran that town. I do believe that. And they probably ran a lot of South Carolina. And it's been my experience that many times the more prominent the person appears to be, the more together, the more they are not. I've definitely known many people in my life that, when something would come out, some scandal, whatever it was, whether it was a divorce, an affair, drugs, just whatever, all the good stuff, like all the stuff in this trial. Most times it would be like, oh my God, are you kidding me? I mean, I can think of a few people off the top of my head that when you do something naughty and embarrassing to the family, and I'm not talking about something small, but you just go away. And I don't mean go away like that. I mean, you're moved somewhere else. And you might come back to the fold, so to speak, or you might not. You might get cut off financially. So I don't find a lot of the things he's accused of, I don't find that hard to believe based on his behavior. And like I said, I've known lots of people who, you're surprised the first few times, and then it's like, wow. So, hey, tattoos and unicorns. I don't know what that's about. The notifications. Try just what everybody always says: unsub and then sub again and hit the little bell. Hopefully that'll fix it. But yeah, his oh, well, Buster, I heard yesterday that, who is in court, by the way, with, oh God, I mean, you can't miss him. He has got the Coco, you're right. Yes. Somebody got pregnant, obviously out of wedlock, or even with a baby that when it was born, it was going to be obvious that that child was not the product of the marriage. It should have been the product. Yes, there's, yeah, I mean, it happens. So, yeah, you guys, these people that we're talking about, just because they have a lot of this, God, don't ever take that to mean that they're any kind of superior morally. Tattoos and unicorns, I don't know. I've got some things I have questions about on my end. Like, I can't even find crimes in fashion. When I was trying to send a link to my mother-in-law, and she's like, well, I'm looking on my TV. Is it the same name? So I need to go in there and look and make sure. I actually have a couple of questions written down from my tech person I need to ask, who knows a lot of YouTubey things. I'm going to ask him. Oh, Coco, you're right. Buster. Oh, God. Yeah, Buster ain't cute. Yeah, Buster needs to stand on his wallet to get a date, and he doesn't have one anymore because, I heard yesterday that Buster was thrown out of law school. Now, I don't know if it's because he failed out or he did something. I don't know. And that he was working at Buffalo Wild Wings and he has been in court with his girlfriend. Well, Judge Judy, I'm getting to the fashion part, but not the Globes. We are going to finish up the Golden Globes fashion, but I'm going to tell you what I think the members of this family wore. Of course, it's all just wild speculation on my part, but I'd be willing to bet that I'm going to come real damn close. Yeah. So, I tell you what, you want to hear some interesting phone calls that will show you a little bit of how, maybe just a little insight into the mind of old Alex Murdaugh. I'm not sure. I think it was the HBO doc. There are some recorded calls from jail of Alex and Buster talking. Yeah. It was all about getting drunk, and I don't know. I just find all of them to be so sleazy and disgusting, and there's absolutely nothing that could surprise me. I mean, what was done? How about Dick Harpootlian getting up there and telling everyone that, how did he put it? Paul's head was destroyed like how did he put it? Like a baseball bat hitting a watermelon. He said the only thing left of his head was his face. And I believe it. And I would like to think that no husband could do such a thing to his wife, and most especially not to his child, but I think it is not unreasonable to believe that Alex Murdaugh had some Murdaugh had some chickens or quails. We'll say, they like quails coming home to roost, and Paul's little boating accident. I've known more than one Paul Murdaugh in my life, Jr. Well, Paul Murdaugh Jr. And I mean that in every sense. I've known people who've caused the death of someone else due to their negligence. That doesn't mean that I think he deserved to be annihilated. But, I guess what I'm saying is I don't believe for 1 minute that these people were well, we know they were not fine, upstanding citizens like they want you to think. The mother, she might have been. I don't know. I think he's going to be convicted. I think the cell phone is going to be his undoing, because in his timeline, he said that he was not at the property. And oops, he's heard on a Snapchat video of Paul and the best friend who had the dog, who owned the dog that was staying in the kennel at the time. It had some kind of an injury to its tail. That's who Paul was on the phone with. That was the last contact he had with anyone ever before disappearing from the face of the earth. And dear old dad said that he was off visiting his ailing mother. Not according to this thing, you weren't. So that's going to be really interesting. I definitely want to, I believe they're going to play. This judge has decided there will be no exhibits shown from the courtroom. We can listen to the audio, but it's typically at the end of the day, and I know Emily D. Baker gets them from Twitter, and then she'll talk about them. So, hey, Lopes, how are you? So, with all that being said, there was in one of Alex's interviews, law enforcement says, first they ask about Paul Jr. and thank you, Lips. I appreciate that. And he talks about what a wonderful kid Paul was. And God, who knew? Who knew that a kid Paul's age, who clearly, at least liked to spend a large chunk of his time out partying, drinking, cruising around in daddy's boat. Well, gosh, who knew that a kid like that would have such a love of botany? Oh, horticulture. Yes. Sunflowers. My goodness. I guess that was the softer side of Paul that people didn't know about. Oh, give me an ever-loving break. Are you fucking kidding me? I mean, really? Alex, my God. You should have, phoned a friend before you decided to use that one. When asked about Paul, the sunflower-loving Paul, oh yes, he just waxed poetic about what a great kid is. Oh, this is his absolute passion. This being the 1,700-acre hunting lodge, I guess we'll call it. Wasn't really a lodge. The Moselle property. And apparently, Paul loved his sunflowers. That's why Paul was out there, he said. Why they had all gotten together out at Moselle, where Maggie didn't like to be because it was hot, muggy, and buggy. Maggie, I'm with you, girl. I've been to South Carolina in the summer and it ain't pretty. Sunflowers are not. So yeah, he just talked about what a wonderful kid Paul was. Oh, I think we're probably going to hear a whole lot of testimony to the contrary. Paul was not a wonderful kid. Paul was an entitled, spoiled, self-destructive, destructive towards others. Sounds like a narcissist with an alcohol problem. And, he already has one death in his wake. Something tells me that had he lived, I hate to speak ill of the dead, okay? And all of that being said, that does not mean that kid deserved what he got. Although I'm sure Mallory Beach's family would think differently. And I damn sure would too if it was my child that he killed. And I know about that because I have a child who was involved in an accident where there was a death. Thank God it wasn't his and he wasn't driving. So, but I get it. That was his supposedly, his son that he just, Coco, you want a link? I'll give you a link. Hold on. Okay, there you go. The sunflowers, I know, so stupid. Um, yeah, so I think Paul was getting ready to cost him a whole lot of money. I think Matt, what in the world? I don't know what the problem is. Well, that's strange. I put the link. Let me try it a different way. Okay. Gonna try it that way. All right, see if that works. I don't know what. Oh, there you are. Duh.
Hi. Hi,
Hey,
beautiful lady.
are you
I
planting
would,
sunflowers?
I would camp
I
off,
hate
but I'm in the
sunflowers.
middle of planting sunflowers right now.
Seeds are the only good thing that comes from sunflowers. I mean,
Well,
I
I
don't know. I'm just not a
have the
sunflower
world's
fan.
worst sinus infection right now, so I don't want to put your viewers through seeing
Oh,
the Elephant Man right now.
oh,
But
I
I
had
just
that in Tennessee. It was, oh my God, I was
well, I
miserable.
mean, when it's 19, then 85, 17, then 78 degree. I mean, it's, I
Wow,
know I'm
that's
gonna get it, but
insane.
I
Yeah.
feel okay. I just little sinus issue.
Oh,
Um, Now all I'll say about these dang sunflowers is he's in the middle of being interrogated while his wife, his son are brutally murdered, and he's talking about
uh-huh.
sunflowers. Not to mention turns around to say, "Hey, how you doing?" to the
Oh, okay. That was on my list. Yep.
okay. I won't jump the
That right there, honestly, that almost more than anything else he said. He went from the woo, woo, that I can't even do it, but that weird, like guttural, but usually if it's guttural, it's
it was
manly sounding.
yeah.
That like my dog does. That's what like Bob does. When Bob wants to go out or something and he's sitting at my feet and he'll look up at me, but he doesn't bark. He has his mouth closed, but he does that weird like whining thing. That's what Murdaugh does. So he's in the middle of like a full scale
Breakdown.
yes, and completely changes his entire octave and demeanor.
Yeah, and
Say how you doing?
when I was watching your Emily D. Baker, she said, I didn't think it was the same person that just said that
It
because,
was weird.
oh, hey, how you doing?
Yeah,
And
very weird.
I don't think SNL could have done a more pathetic parody than he did of himself that night. I mean, I really,
Oh,
ridiculous.
I think that cell phone is what's going to get him. I do. I think it. I hope.
Balls.
Well, yes. Apparently, Alex said, "Oh, I wasn't there at the property. I left at whatever time he said." And oops, Paul was doing a Snapchat video with the guy that owned the dog that was in the kennel,
Yes.
and Alex can be heard and I believe seen. I know for sure they said he could be heard.
I would imagine, and look, I know rich people think they're bulletproof, invincible, and 10 feet tall. But him being a lawyer as long as he has been, how did he not meticulously plan this thing? There's
You know what?
holes in every single thing he's done.
We were actually, my husband and I were actually talking about not this case, but just in general, how I don't care how smart you are with all the technology we have these days and all the cameras that we have everywhere. I mean, you and I are from a different time. We grew up, we didn't have all this stuff. So if you're like me, you never are thinking about when you're sitting at a red light that there are cameras everywhere watching you. Like, it just never occurs to me.
Right. And I absolutely agree. And, and he is definitely of a certain age. And everybody always gets caught by their cell phones. And one of my best friends is a homicide detective in Houston.
Ooh,
And
oh
he was
God.
like, why would you not go to the movies and tape your phone underneath the damn seat and go do what you
Throw your damn phone in the ocean 2 days beforehand.
no
Smash
shit.
it with a hammer.
Pull a Candace Wells, throw them both in the lake. I mean,
Yeah, bleach it like Hillary Clinton. I mean, I don't know. God Almighty, it's I. But yeah,
no, I
oh
mean, I look. What is it called? Whatever. When you kill your wife, that happens. It is,
yes,
you know,
yeah,
killing
killing
your
your
son is a
child.
whole different ball of wax. I mean, that is to me is you're a monster for killing your wife. You're the devil for killing your child. I mean, that's the level.
And with that kind of weapon, my God.
God.
I mean, I I believe when they say what is that all that was left was his face. I mean, I
I'm
believe it.
surprised because normally a buckshot like that will
Was
very
he
left.
did he get the he was with the AR, I think.
Blackout or whatever that 300 blackout.
Yes, that's like the AR, isn't it? Is that the
I believe so.
I think Paul, yeah, Paul was the one shot with the AR style. She was shot with the shotgun.
Have they said who they believe was shot first?
I have not heard that yet.
I haven't either.
No. They might have. I just haven't heard it. I don't know.
These people just, I just can't.
They're so slimy. Honest to God, like they're just filthy. I
They
think
are.
it's
They are. I know them. They're in my family. Down to a boating accident. This is in my family. I know these people to a T.
oh well. Then let's go through my. It won't take long.
Okay.
We're gonna go through what I'm gonna tell you everything I think I know about these people. Okay, Alex, starting with his uniform,
Yes.
not just in court, but probably in his regular daily life.
Day to day.
Okay, the khaki pants,
Yes.
button-down shirt.
Yes.
Can't see his shoes, but if we could, I would say they're either Gucci or Ferragamo.
Mm,
On the weekends, he probably wears Todd's driving shoes, Sperry's because he's out on his boat, or he's wearing golf shoes, maybe some Cole Haans. I think he wears
more
ties.
fun because it's the South. When you start wearing Gucci and Ferragamo in the South, you might be gay, right? So we're gonna stick to Cole Haan.
There was now. Did you hear yesterday? They found in the search. I don't know if it was that night or the next day. They found a receipt from Gucci in the garbage can, and it was like $1,000 and change. But Maggie had been, and I have been in that Gucci in Charleston.
Mm-hmm.
She had been to Charleston, I think that day for a doctor's appointment. So it could have been Maggie. I don't know. When he wears a tie, I would imagine, depending on the occasion, maybe at the office, he wore probably a lot of Vineyard Vines. When he went to court, which I think was not all that often, I heard most of his cases settled, that he hasn't done tons of trial work, which.
When you were talking about, what his maybe high profile case, I Googled it. There was really not anything there. So that I could find outstanding.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'd heard too. I would imagine that Alex's shirts, now I'm talking work and weekend, Polo, Vineyard Vines, Callaway, Titleist.
I think he has some LLB moments too, because
yes. Mossy Oak for sure when they're out at their, hunting property. Yeah. Hold on, I'm gonna.
A lot of some, and as teenagers, probably, I don't know if Paul and Buster, they have on the duck shoes with jeans and a Patagonia vest. That's
Oh yeah, I put down. Oh yeah, see, I forget that it gets cold there. Damn, I didn't
Patagonia.
even think about winter footwear for those boys. The
You
hell's wrong with
got
me?
shoes with the Patagonia vest with some kind of checkered polo. I mean,
Oh yeah, yep.
polo.
I think Alex probably absolutely during business hours wore gold Rolex presidential. He probably wore that watch all the time. Now, I have come to find out when I did my list of cars, because obviously they had multiple cars. For him, I put down a big ass diesel truck for when he's out at the
Deer camp.
at the hunting lodge.
The deer camp.
A Mercedes when he goes to work every day, and I think that the Benz that he set up his, oh, how stupid was that, when he hired the idiot redneck guy to come and unalive him. Remember, he was on the side of the road changing the tire.
Yeah.
And he paid, oh God, I think that was her Mercedes that he was in. But either way, I had it down for both of them. Okay.
I think you're right on that, but as a Southern lawyer, and I can only go by below the Mason-Dixon line, that is completely different than East Coast, West Coast lawyers. Southern lawyers, you're going to find them probably in some type of truck or SUV.
Oh,
That's normally what it is. And their wives are going to drive the Jaguar.
Or a big ass Suburban. I would definitely, he's got a big truck. He's got his work car, SUV. So some type of.
But the wives are going to have the Jags, the Mercedes, the Saab.
Range Rover. I got her in a Range Rover. Well, let's see. For Maggie's clothes, Lily Pulitzer for sure.
Yes.
Probably lots of it. Jay McLaughlin, Vineyard Vines, some Tory Burch, Tracy Negocian, and for the evening, charity functions or whatever, not the black tie ones, but just more evening, but not black tie. The ever present of ladies. Well, she's actually just a little older than me. Some St. John. I'm sure she has.
I was thinking also that. And what's the one that all the housewives wear that kind of suck you in, and they're normally off the shoulder? Who is that designer they all wear?
Oh, Hervé Leger.
No, I don't think it's
Chiara Boni.
It's not rouging, but it's like almost like a.
Not Chiara Boni. Yeah,
it looks like almost ace bandages wrapped around.
Yeah, well, they all wear that Hervé Leger, but
it might be Hervé Leger. That might
was the original bandage dress. And then you didn't hear from him for a million years, and then he came back into fashion. Yeah, several years ago, and a lot of the housewives wore it. That's probably who you're thinking. I don't picture her in that.
I think that's what I am thinking.
Yeah, lots of tunic tops, island. Like the few pictures that they've released of her, yeah, she seems to be very much. I mean, to me, she looks like all Lily Pulitzer all the time. Like the tunic top, the typical Southern. Right. I think she was. I think she was definitely in the junior league at some point in her life.
Oh, she definitely was, and
probably chaired several charity committees. She, they probably had more than one fundraiser in their home.
She was in charge of the Heart Fund Ball.
Oh, something like that for sure.
Yeah, she probably started a cotillion in her area.
Yes. Now, if her kids had been girls, they would have absolutely been debutantes. But yeah, they probably did go to cotillion. I bet both Buster and Well, they should have gone to. Oh, well, I'm not gonna. Never mind. I think
What is it?
I've already drugged Paul enough.
What is it with the Daughters of the American Revolution?
Oh
That
God. Oh yes, you have to prove. What is that? She might have been. Yep. You have to be able to prove that. I forget how many generations you have to go back. Oh God, I forgot all about that. I see her wearing Chanel ballet flats for sure.
Just 1 second. I'm on mute for 1 second.
Okay. She wears Tory Burch Miller flip flops. I would imagine that when she's got something a little dressier, not evening, well, maybe evening, Manolo Blahnik heels. I don't see her as a Louboutin woman. I see her in Manolo Blahniks and probably kitten heels, maybe a little higher. Probably Lily Pulitzer, the leather flip-flops with the gold O-ring in the middle. And of course, Ferragamo's. Handbags for Maggie. A Goyard tote for sure for the daytime. I'm sure she probably had a few Chanel bags for this, just the small ones for, a dressier daytime function, or maybe a not so dressy nighttime function. Judith Lieber bag for sure, probably multiple for evening events. I'm sure she had a Gucci, maybe a Jackie O bag, which by the way, that style is making a comeback. I was just reading that the other day and I don't remember what. And I'm sure that she probably had a Louis Vuitton Keepall, which is a Neverfull. That's the one that's one of their most popular styles. They always make it. They'll probably never stop making it. It's, it's just a good old tote bag. 2 leather straps, shoulder straps. I'm sure she had one of those. And I would imagine she probably had other Louis Vuitton bags, but probably not. I don't see her as being a huge label person. Like, I'm sure she had them, but maybe an epi leather or just not. I don't know. She just doesn't strike me as being a big logo girl, we'll just say. Okay, got the handbags. And cars for Miss Maggie. Well, I know here in Florida, the uniform for the upwardly mobile lady.
Sorry, before you move on,
okay.
handbag. Sorry, I talked to my sister real quick.
Okay.
I don't know if you mentioned it or not, but Patricia Field, she has some Patricia Field in there somewhere because she probably still living Sex in the City in her hair.
Oh God. See, I don't see Maggie as being like a big label, like a logo person, not label. I don't see her as being a big logo person.
I see her having like Martha Stewart tendencies, like when it's necessary, she kind of does, but she likes to consider herself more of a, get her hands in the garden type, sunflowers.
I was saying while you were talking to whoever you were talking to, that I'm sure she had a Louis Vuitton bag, and it's more than likely the Neverfull, and she probably had other ones, but they were probably like the epi leather and not.
Right. Well,
not the harness. That's still
most Louis Vuittons are epi leather or something like that. It's very rare that it's real leather, right?
Well, there's a style that they make. Well, like the handles on all the brown, they all start out that beautiful like honey gold color. That's vachetta leather. But the bodies of most of those, they're like vinyl. But they do have.
I've seen their vinyl with like almost like or their canvas with a vinyl overlay, and everyone that I've ever talked to about it says you want an epi leather, you want that because they last forever. The leather ones don't last very long.
Well, the one I'm thinking of that I'm calling epi leather is it's grooved. It's like oh, I should just I'll pull one up. Hold on. I forgot. I was in the let's see here.
Okay, while you're pulling that up, I have a question because I'm kind of half-assed watching this trial because, like I told you, it takes me 2 days to watch one day of the trial.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to show you an epi leather bag. Well, hell's bells. I want to make sure there's. Oh, I'm supposed to accept the. Let's see here. Percent. Share screen. Window. Oh no, we'll do the whole tab. Okay, share. Okay, can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. That's the epi leather. There's striations in there. So there's I mean it's marked with the LV on one of the tabs, but it's not the big logo in your face.
Right. So are the ones with the LV the typical print that we know, that's real leather?
Well, no, it's like
an overlay of leather.
Vinyl's not the right word, but it's it's almost like a coated canvas.
That's what I don't know what I was watching the other day, and they were talking about the bags.
And then the one patent leather with an embedded logo, that's called Vernus.
Yes, that's what she was saying. Okay.
Vernus does last.
Do you ever watch Hope Scope? She's the one that on YouTube. She's always talking about leggings, and she buys like lost pack Hope Scope.
I've never heard of it.
She's really cute. She just
check that out.
I'll send you a link to her. But she was talking about she buys like unclaimed packages, and she got a couple Louis Vuittons in, and she went to get them authenticated, and she was surprised. And I don't know, there's a backstory about nothing, but she was just saying that the different textures of Louis Vuitton. I don't own any Louis Vuitton, which has never been my jam, but I mean, I
have got a couple of the suitcases, which I will say they're pretty bulletproof. I've got a couple of the bags. I never carry them anymore. But
I tell you what,
my mom bought oh God, it's gorgeous. It's a top handle tote bag, and it's one of the ones with the huge logo on it. But it's just this beautiful neutral. I'm like, I want that bag. When you're done with that, I want that bag.
Put that in the wheel for you. You know what I got, and it's not very expensive at all, but I absolutely love it. And I pulled a piece of it out the other day because I realized I hadn't unpacked it from my move, and I thought this reminds me of Zsa Zsa Versace. It's Betsy Johnson's luggage.
Oh, okay.
And it's.
I would say I'm thinking to myself, if she says Dooney and Burke, I am gonna cut her feet.
No, we don't do that. But
you remember those old bags?
It's these beautiful pink. Oh yeah, I can't with that shit.
Hey, stop it! Sorry, a cat fight going on. Wait, hold on.
It's got pink flowers and stuff all over it. And my
ex-husband, exactly what you're talking about. Hold on.
My ex-husband was like,
"You terrorizing the house." Hey, stop it, woman. Hey. God, sorry.
That's all right.
Beat the hell out of his mother, and I don't know what's going on with that fat man. He's becoming like a little terrorist. Good Lord.
So yeah, every time I love it, and every time.
Did you watch Jazz?
Yes, and I do have. I tell you, I watched one episode of it, and
shocked. How big she is?
Yeah, but I'm only on season 4. you know?
Oh, so you
And
haven't gotten
I
to it,
just
I
watched
don't
an
think.
episode of season 4, and I didn't like her attitude. She's a shitty teenager like most teenagers,
Oh
you
God,
know? And I
yeah.
didn't like that.
But even more because she's just, hey, what are you doing? Stop being so mean to everybody. Yeah, she's, oh my God. Her
I
mother. Do you hate her mom? I hate her mom. I cannot stand her
her
mom.
mom is 1 centimeter away from, putting her on every damn reality show. I would say like Dance Mom. I mean, she's definitely a show mom. She's a low hand, as far as I'm concerned.
She's
And
horrible. She is horrible.
and look, as far as Jazz goes and her sexuality, I do believe that this is the right thing for her. I don't know that it should have been exploited outside of
Exactly.
at
Exactly.
I mean, it probably does help other, kids in this situation, but I agree with you that it should wait a little while. I'm not saying forever, but a little while.
Yeah,
And
like, I don't know, till you're 18 and you're, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I don't have the answer. I mean, I'm sure that's a very difficult situation to be in, as a parent.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I don't take issue with them letting her go to school dressed as a girl, wanting to be addressed as a girl. Fine. But when you start with the medical intervention at an age when I don't care what sex you are, your body is still growing and developing, and you start messing around with that, and I
do think it's permanent damage. I do.
Absolutely.
But I don't know that it could have been any different for this little girl. I don't. I do believe that it is, what it is. When I see her, like I said, I've seen this one episode that I have not. I watched it when it first came out, and I haven't seen it since then.
I did too.
But she was eventually going to do this. And
possibly. I mean, I don't take issue with that, but I just think the whole situation has been so exploited, and I'm sure it was for money to pay for it.
That's what I feel like too,
Yeah.
And if it was to help, other children that might be going through this, that's fine.
That might be a side effect of all of it and a benefit, but
I agree.
I don't believe for 1 minute that was why they did it.
I mean, we all know I don't have children, but I think there's no way in hell would this be something I would do, regardless if I thought it would help 1,000 people or not. There's no way I would fall through this.
They didn't do that to help other people. They did that for this.
So
I just find the mother to be, she's the whack job. The mother is nuttier than all the rest of them combined.
Yeah, she's nuttier than squirrel shiz. And
how about the other kids? Do you not think that those other kids,
they don't matter?
Got whatever scraps were left.
They don't matter.
No, they don't. I don't think they do. The parents don't act like it, and the father, oh my God, he needs to find his balls. Like,
I mean, they those boys, I mean, they're dead weight.
Belt sander.
Unless they decide to, get some nipple rings and hang from the ceiling, they ain't for this family.
Did you hear what I was saying about the belt sander? Now he says, well, he's on a crusade. Like his whole life has now become about supporting trans, this, that, and the other.
Who?
Sander. He's got his whole social media presence.
Who is that? Is that the son or the dad?
That's the one who likes to have his shirt off all the time. The kid. he certainly didn't seem to be all that interested many seasons ago, but now I think he sees.
Child, he's taking a page from the Chrisleys. Everybody better get involved if they want to get paid, child. You better get your ass on the screen.
And I think also, do you not think it's probably they see, well, this is a way to get mom and dad's attention?
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, because I promise you, those kids were an absolute afterthought. Oh, look at you.
Hey, I'm sorry. I don't like when people don't cam up. And look,
Oh,
trust me, I understand what I look like, everybody.
huh?
And
Oh,
at
you
least
look
I want to
fine.
come shove some saline up my nose right now. Can't do anything about it right now. All right.
When I had that sinus going when I was in Tennessee, it actually on one side, it was swollen.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
right
why
under here.
I look insane.
It
But
was miserable.
I've had a sinus infection before, and it was to the point that I was rocking like Alex Murdaugh. I promise you. I was laying in bed with my ex-husband. All I could do was rock. I was like, the pain is so intense.
Oh, hell yes. My dad had sinus. He had to have his scraped. And he said that, they packed it. Well, it hemorrhaged that next night. He had to go into the ER and they had to just pack it full of, he said that was the most painful thing. I mean, he's had open heart surgery, old school, like a zipper.
Oh,
and he said that was by far the most.
Mine was so bad. I handled it by I had one of those face steamers and I put my face in it.
Yeah.
And TMI, I blew my nose, and y'all, like a quarter size of pollen came out of my sinus cavity.
Oh, it's bad here right now. In fact, I keep getting notifications on my phone about pollen alerts. I'm like, no shit. I don't need your alert. I just walk out in my yard and, it's raining down. I have oak trees everywhere. So this time of the year, well, really bad in the next month. Everything is just coated in yellow dust. Thank God I'm not too bothered by it.
And city girl here who just moved to the country, there's nothing but trees here.
And
I'm like,
do you like it? It's big change. Do you like it?
I love it. I do. Yeah. I mean, this house has been a 24/7 a day job. It really has. But yeah. So, last thing is it's not the last thing. The dryer is going to be, I got a new dryer the other day. Of course, the dryer plug does not fit the outlet. So the outlet's coming in so the dryer can be plugged in. The pool is going to be fixed because the lining in the pool is ripped up. So that's going to be fixed. And then I'm done. Yeah. This motherfucker burns down. I'm happy.
From your lips to God's ears.
I'm just saying, lightning may you strike.
I know. I tell you what, there's definitely upsides to renting. Like being able to pick the phone up and call somebody else, it's their problem.
I've rented for 30 years in Houston, and
well, it's
got used to that luxury. Yeah, after paying Terminex, what I've paid them, because I did take you said something one day, and I took it to heart, Lisa. When you said, it's been a while ago, you said have the best insurance you can have the best this, and I've always believed that, and I thought, thank God someone has rectified my frivolous money spending, because I do have the best insurance on this house. I do have Terminex come over once a week, no matter what. If there's one piece of shit, I know what's going on.
I'm telling you, my son had a car accident. This is the craziest thing. My son was in a car accident. He was not driving. It was not his car. He was not in a car that we owned.
Thank you, Alabama.
He got a 5-figure settlement from my Geico. A lawyer was at my house the next day, sitting in my kitchen, and this was a friend of his father's. And I was like, the kid who hit them didn't even have insurance. I mean, and the guy was like, well, could I see your insurance card? And when he saw what kind of insurance, like what limits we had, he was like, oh, I think, yeah, I can get a settlement from I'm like, what?
Oh, I'm with you.
And he did. He did.
Insurance is worth more than my car. I guarantee.
Oh, we have insanely high limits.
And look, if y'all are saying, yeah, well, maybe y'all can afford. You can afford it. You can afford it. You
that came from.
I had to eat ramen noodles for a month because I need to afford stuff like this before in my life. Oh, trust me, I have.
That came from my husband's
professor, from what you told me.
My husband was, I think it was someone in the doctoral program, and he was a former judge. And he said, or maybe he might have been a sitting judge and teaching. I'm not sure, but he just said, you get the most that you can afford to carry, period.
I do. I'm sorry. I'm trying to plug this in real quick. I do. And it is worth it, y'all.
Yeah, because and we've never had to use it, but I'll tell you what, when you need it, you need it. And you'll be damn glad you have it.
And don't believe anything home inspectors say, by the way. They're paid off by the sellers, FYI. What? Especially in small towns. My house electrical system, I've had 3 people come look at it. The 4th time I had someone who was certified. They said it is under 0 circumstances how this house is not caught on fire. Now, I have grandbabies over here. I have 4 dogs. I got to,
your house.
Who's at my house at any time of day? I'm here now, but my family comes over constantly, And so, excuse me, what?
Oh,
Thank you. God. Thank you for inspecting it and
oh, believe me, that goes on. That goes on all over.
So stupid.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things you live and learn. And hey, the good news is you found out before it did burn down.
Well, I wouldn't have been mad.
Oh, well, I need to go to the bathroom and I'm starving. So
all right. I'm gonna make a fresh pizza. So
okay, so Friday. It was going to be perfect. And then my mom called and wants to come up. Okay. And the only day she can do it is Friday after, let's see, she said she'll be here around 11. So I'm around all weekend. I'm around all weekend
with me. So
okay. Just I'll get with you. I want to do some plastic surgery disasters too. I think that would be so much fun. That would be fun. I'm going to find some. But I do want to finish the Golden Globes because we still have.
Yeah, because I want to get to the ones.
I got halfway.
I want to get to the ones that you like, and I want to get to the ones that I like.
I showed you the 2 I liked.
I've already seen them?
Yeah, remember the white dress on Drury Hall?
I didn't know those ones you starred. Okay.
And the Naeem Khan beaded black with the pink and red flowers. Yeah. I mean, there's some other ones that I like, but those are my favorite.
Okay.
Bye, Alabama. Thank you for hanging out.
All right. Well, we have yet to get to my 2. Okay. And I think you'll like them.
I have them. Oh, I'm sure I have them. I'm sure I'll like them. Those were. Oh, that's my son.
All right. Bye. I'll talk to y'all later. Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome. Hey, hold on 1 minute. Okay, everybody. That's my child on the phone. And I need to go to the bathroom. So we're going to end this. Thank you for joining me. This has been Crimes and Fashion, where we talk about some very bad people while being dressed to kill. And I will see you guys later in the week. All right. Have a great one. Thank you. Bye.